Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you can join me today. Now, this one is an interesting one. It's about a module and add-on to the Raspberry Pi that will allow you to play NES cartridges and Super Nintendo cartridges. Sounds interesting. It really does. But I have some concerns, and we're going to go over those concerns. My first thought when I seen this was like, yeah, that's neat. But if you have cartridges, you most likely already have a system you play them on. But there's some other concerns with this. And I'll just point out that this guy is based in Hong Kong, so English is most likely not his first language. So there might be a little bit of broken English. I'm not knocking him for it, not taking off any points for his Kickstarter because of that. But I just wanted to point that out while we're reading this. If I stumble over something, it's the English is a little broken, but let's go ahead and go through this, and then I'll explain my concerns. So this is an FPGA add-on for the Pi, Super Nintendo and NES in one module. So it says FPGA builds a working SNES NES. This board can attach to a Raspberry Pi for maths or SIPTO engine and Pi networking. Okay, kind of vague. Even when you go through the information, it's a little vague. But, he tries his best to explain everything. In his video, I'm not 100% looking at this video what it is I'm actually looking at, because it looks like he took a board from a Super Famicom and attached a Pi to it and attached his module. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but he's showing that it works. I mean, that's cool, but what I'm looking at right here almost to me looks like just a Super Famicom that's outside of the case with a Pi underneath it. I don't know. I could be mistaken, so, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have a Super Famicom to look at to see what the board exactly looks like, or if he's using a clone system board. I don't know. But that's what he's got. Looks like he's got some stuff attached there. I don't know. I don't even know where the Pi is, but regardless. So that's his little video. He has a few other videos, and then he has a lot of stuff in his gallery showing, the games he's tested and stuff like that. But we'll go ahead and look at this. About this project, when the Pi came out, he decided to add FPGA to enhance its functionality and provide non-software, hence no viruses nor easily hackable functions for development, like cryptocurrencies, algorithm, or key generation and keeping. In this arrangement, the FPGA provides high-speed and high-precision math functions. The Raspberry Pi can provide network connection and display. Interesting. During the development, as I have a large collection of NES and SNES games, I decided to make an FPGA implementation of the NES and SNES. I have around 300 games, and all of them run smoothly. Great. If 300 games run smoothly, then I would assume pretty much all authentic games will run smoothly, right? I would think. I raised this project because I wish to bring this hardware to you DIY enthusiastic or electronic hardware designers or hobbyists. I also want funding to increase my collection of SNES library so I could do more testing on different games and perfect the design. I mean, it sounds like this guy just wants to increase his collection of games. I don't know, man. I don't know. Most of the funding goes to the production of modules, very costly to buy the FPGA. He's correct. He's correct on that. You can check DigiKey for the price. No, you don't even have to check it. To get the FPGAs are pretty pricey. Both the analog and the AVS use them, and they're costly machines. At least, yeah, I'm pretty sure the analog uses FPGA. But yeah, they're pretty costly. So he's correct in stating that. I hope more people can pitch in to have a module pre-build and pre-test for themselves and make interesting projects. The remaining funding will aid me to further test the modules. And we might even proceed to make Nintendo 64 modules later, or fully open source the NES projects. See, I don't, maybe I'm not that savvy, but what he stated there, I don't know that I like that. You're telling me like, hey, maybe we'll do some Nintendo 64 modules, and people will be like, what? Nintendo 64 in HD without having to get a modded Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64 doesn't play well on the Raspberry Pi to begin with. There's the important games. Some of the important games play pretty well, but it's not a reliable, source to play your Nintendo 64 games on. So a module would be awesome, but throwing that in there without it being part of the project, I don't like that. Don't get people's hopes up with promises like that. The parts used for the module is blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah RAM. It's worth mentioning the FPGA footprints suit many different densities. The largest is whatever that is. You guys can read that. Please refer to data sheets. Is enough to build an SNES, NES, and 2600 system on a module with around 80% utilization. In using these modules, I also outline a method to outsource manufacturing, and the designer still retains complete control of units produced. To keep things short, if interested, you can find the outline in my open source projects and search for this. Refer to the README PDF files. This is my open source project. You evaluate the quality of my work there too. What? Risks and challenges. This is, usually the most important part, other than what it is you're going to get. And we're going to look at that stuff, because if you just kind of glance at it and you don't know exactly what you're looking at, you're going to pledge too little amount of money, and you're not going to get what it is you think this project is, what you're pledging for. But we'll get to that in a moment. So risks and challenges. The module hardware is very mature. I had done more than 7 revisions of the board. There is not much challenges there except for production if my fundraising is successful. I will continuously report on item sourcing and production progress. I know quite a few manufacturers which certainly can meet the stringent requirements of these boards. Challenges ahead are the Pi interface. What? To develop a user-friendly interface in the snapshots, gallery photos, you can see the user interface is already there, and further testing, and it will be completed. We're going to have to check that out, because I don't remember seeing any user interface, but whatever. For the SNES NES award, as I don't have each and every game in my possession, I will in the meantime collect more games with the funds raised and test, so I can only guaranteed when delivered next February it can run at least 300 games. So you're telling me you're going to use our money that we back this project with to buy more games, and you're only going to guarantee when delivered next February that it's going to run at least 300 games, hopefully more, but you're saying, hey, I'm going to use your money and buy more games for my collection, but I'm only guaranteeing that's going to play 300 games, which are the 300 games he's tested. Maybe it's his English, but he should have worded some of this a little differently, because the way I take it, which I don't think is the way he meant it, I don't like that. If you're going to use the money that's raised to buy games to test, then you damn well better guarantee that it's going to be more than 300 games that you already tested. You already said 300 games work, so give me a break with that. I don't know. Like I said, could be a language barrier thing, but I don't know. Looking at the prototype gallery, so he has a few videos, functional prototype. Let's go ahead and take a peep at that one. Mario Bros. So I don't see a cartridge inserted. I don't know. I'm not sure what this project is. Here's another one. This one has an NES with that little screen on there, so that's kind of cool. So that board right there has a Famicom slot and an NES slot, so that's ripped out of a clone system. So I don't understand what this Kickstarter is for. You have a Famicom slot and then an NES slot right behind it. So this is off of a clone system of some sort. Like a Retro Duo or something. I don't know, but I don't know what this proves right here. That you can take a clone system and put this module on it and then put a little LCD screen on there to play your games. I don't know. I mean, in all honesty, what he is promoting here is a DIY little hobbyist type thing. I don't think he really should have communicated this Kickstarter a little better, because essentially it's hardware that you can use to implement different functions and be able to do different processes. And being able to play NES and Super NES may be one of those processes, but that's not the full capability of this thing. It can do a lot of other things that maybe is what it's meant for. I don't know. But I'm just getting confused the more and more. Like, is that the user interface right there? I can't really read that. It's a little blurry. So he has some kind of user interface, but we're going to talk about that when we look through. And these are like some of the games he's tested successfully. Interface activated on a Ubuntu machine. This is an example how that can control up and link with the Pi. I don't know, guys. So I just want you guys, because there's a lot of people interested in this, really dig into this before you fund this. He has 2 backers, 36 days to go, $403 of his $127 or $128,000 goal. I don't know if he's going to make that goal. If you back and he doesn't make it, then you don't get charged. He has to be fully funded for you to get charged. But let's go ahead and look at the prices here. So pledging $5, you get nothing, just a thank you. Whatever. A lot of Kickstarters do that. $30, you get a tester board. Now, like I said, make sure you read this before you back if you're interested in this, because if you're like $30, that's a bargain. Yeah, but you're not getting any of the stuff we just looked at. $30 ships anywhere in the world. You get the item, less the FPGA module. You're not getting the FPGA module. The board enables you to test DIP ICs from 40 pin or more. There are over 100 programmable I/O ports. Also, you'll be mentioned on our website. Whoop-de-doo, yay, mention me. $35, you get the LED board only. You'll have a blinking LED board, which is handy to check out connections for any DIY project. It can also show debug information. You get free shipping, whatever. Module without FPGA jumpers and SRAM. For around $35, you'll have this 4-layer PCB populate with most components except for the most important components, which are the FPGA and the SRAM, as we only supply modules with that integrated circuits. It's perfect for you to source your own preferred XI Links FPGA series, so go buy your own module, whatever. But here you're just buying parts that are readily available is what those ones are. These first few, you're just buying parts from them that are available that you can just source yourself. Next one, $60. Module with the FPGA SRAM and SRAM. You will have a fully populated FPGA module and can start your gadget building in no time. It'll be fully tested, and the SPI will be included with the LED blinker HDL as an example. We'll ship 2 units. What? From import of this. Please take note that if your country is prohibited from the import of this FPGA, which can be checked with the XI Links website, I will ship 2 units of reward number 4 instead, so you won't get the FPGA, I guess. I don't know. Module with the Pi interface. Now this is where it's interesting. $160. So for the $160, you're getting everything. You will receive source code of the user interface written in Glade and C language for Ubuntu. This includes low-level interface in the Pi with the FPGA. The outlook of the interface is shown. If you live in a country where the FPGA, he'll just give you the other crap instead. So you're paying $160 for his source code. Nobody's back that. Nice. Now for around $200, you will have the hardware module and the NES and SNES interface pre-built and fully tested. This will be similar to the item you see in Gallery 12. It will be programmed with the latest version of SPI code. Also will be mentioned in our website. So you're going to have to pledge $200 to get the actual interface for what he is making this more so about, the NES and SNES. $200, $202 actually, in order to get what you think this Kickstarter's about. For around $500, you'll get 10 units of the module. That's savings of $100. So what do you guys think here? An FPGA module is pretty pricey. $200 pricey? No. So that $200 is just buying his source code with that interface in order to play your NES and SNES games. Pretty pricey. pretty pricey for an untested. We don't know what any of this looks like. Pretty vague. I don't know, you know, I'm not that tech savvy with a lot of this stuff, but it just seems like you're buying modules that you can get. Any of these pledges, you're just buying stuff from him that you can source from China on your own for a very small fraction of what he's asking, including the FPGA boards, which they are pricey, but they're not as expensive as what he's getting out of it. But like I said, it seems more like you're paying for his source code to actually utilize it. And the only way you're getting that source code and the interface to use NES and SNES cartridges on your Pi is by pledging $202. I don't get it. I don't get it. Pledge at your own risk. I don't see enough information here to warrant me pledging. Maybe I'm just an idiot and I don't understand everything I'm reading, or maybe I'm misinterpreting what I'm reading. Maybe that English barrier is causing me to not fully understand the awesomeness behind this. I don't know. But just from what I'm seeing, it sounds like I'm giving you $200 to get this as a DIY kit, which, okay, that's fair. That's reasonable. I don't see anything custom here other than his source code and interface that, you know, there's no guarantee that that's even, you know, original. But benefit of the doubt, he created that. I had to give you $200 to get access to that. I don't know if we're getting any documentation on this project. If those of us who are not into DIY projects, if we're going to be giving the documentation to build this properly, or if we're just, you know, on our own. So like I said, peep this out if you want. I'll put the link in the description. I am not backing this. The only Kickstarters I have backed has been the Dreamcade, which, I don't know. It's a gamble, but hey, I can't wait to check it out. The Dreamcade, and then the Retro Fighters N64 controller. Those are the only two I've backed. This sounds interesting, but it's a no for me. I vote no. I have an NES, Super Nintendo. I could play my games without a Raspberry Pi interface, which, I don't know. I guess there's some benefits to it, but if you have a Pi 3 already, you know what's going on, Retro Pi bros. You know what's going on. So, with that said, guys, peep it out. Smash that like button for me if you could. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Do all that wonderful stuff. Go check out Game Tato. Yeah, I said it. Go check out Game Tato. Hooked on that guy's channel. What? Game Tato lives. Peace out, guys. I'll catch y'all next time. Boom!